Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to welcome you all to tonight's performance, Our Cancer Stories, Resilience in Words. My name is Kyle Jackham. I'm a licensed social worker and the program coordinator here at Crossroads for Hope, an independent 501c3 nonprofit organization located in Bedminster, New Jersey. Our organization helps all those touched by cancer to move through a health crisis to become more active and empowered by taking control of their health and well-being. Our network of support embraces all people touched by cancer, the diagnosed and their loved ones, providing access to resources and evidence-based programs of support, education, well-being, and hope, all offered free of charge. We are committed to upholding the dignity of all people through respect for gender identification, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, and income differences. Our vision is to be a safe space to turn to first for restoring one's whole being and improve the life of people with cancer and their families beyond the diagnosis. Tonight's performance is a collaborative project with McCarter Theater Center in Princeton, New Jersey, as well as a community of members who have submitted a written piece for this performance. This project came to fruition last year from a vision I had after working with so many amazing people here at Crossroads for Hope. I realized that every member has a story to tell and that each one is different and unique in its own way. Last year, we held this performance, which was captivating, inspiring, and moving, and felt we wanted to capture even more of our members' stories. We encouraged our members to write about anything that related to their own cancer experience as either a poem, a monologue, song lyrics, and even more. Within a few weeks, I began to receive numerous forms of submissions from caregivers, patients, post-treatment survivors, pediatric patients, as well as people that are in bereavement. From there, McCarter has worked behind the scenes to create a beautiful, raw, honest, and genuine script, which will be presented for you tonight. Tonight's program is being recorded, and I encourage anyone in the audience to utilize the chat box for any questions, comments, or reactions you may have throughout the show, and we'll be sure to get to them during the talkback portion of the performance. With that said, I want to thank you all for joining us this evening, and I will hand it off to the director of tonight's performance, Laura Poe.
Let's see, can you see me okay? Hi. Thank you to everyone who has logged on tonight to watch this staged reading of Our Cancer Stories, Resilience in Words. My name is Laura Poe, and I was honored to serve as the director for tonight's event. The McCarter Theater is proud to partner with Crossroads for Hope for the second year on this important project. The powerful stories you're about to hear deal with such topics as healing, hope, loss, bravery, and remission. We wove excerpts from each submission into a collective script that professional actors will perform. We want to note that the actors in tonight's event may not represent all personal identifiers, including gender, age, race, and so forth, of the authors of each submission. We thank the writers who shared their personal experiences. Please join us for a short talk back with the writers and actors after the performance, where we'll learn more about their creative process. Without further ado, we present Our Cancer Stories, Resilience in Words.
Grief takes 4 stages: denial, anger, bargaining, and acceptance. The 5th stage is love. Acceptance doesn't mean we must like it or agree with it. It just means you accept reality the way it is.
Hospital room with big machinery, hour 4.
I'm so sorry again, Mrs. Taylor.
Tyler.
That's what I said. We're just having a teensy problem finding you in the system.
Here I am, a wire sticking out of my left breast in what could easily be described as the worst mammogram ever. And she can't find me in the system. The doctor enters. Yes, he's hot. Just to paint the picture, I have been at this hospital for 5 hours, waiting for a 1-hour procedure. I'm scared. They lost me in a system. I'm sweating and oh yeah, I'm not allowed to wear deodorant.
Mrs. Taylor.
Hi. Forget it.
Oh, good news, Mrs. Taylor. We found you in the system. In fact, your surgeon called looking for you.
Someone noticed I was gone.
Yeah, so let's get down to business. I will be injecting you with a gamma dye.
The doctor leans in close. Would that make me the Incredible Hulk? Doctor, I want to apologize in advance. I think I stink.
Well then, thank God for these masks, huh? Yeah, seriously, I can't smell a thing.
Oh, I'm screwed.
I will be a warrior, and I will be unstoppable in my journey to defeat this disease. I will live with courage and be fearless in my fight. I will continue to carry confidence as my shield to protect me. I will be relentless with my strength, power, and courage in this fight. I will continue to wake up every day and be thankful for the day. I will be ready to take on each day because I am on a mission to be cancer-free.
Cafe Mocha moment. The gleaming stainless machine in the outpatient waiting room stared at me. Its buttons like rows of eyes spun. Count to 5, try to focus, girl. Cappuccino, espresso, Americano, cafe mocha. Oh, shut up, you're coming unglued. You need a good, strong coffee, just brew it. I couldn't. My morning coffee ritual had been calm and methodical once. Measure the Sumatran beans, grind them into K-cups, toss the cups into a brown filter, douse the little mounds with boiled filtered water in my single cup Melita, top the brew with a dash of Ceylon cinnamon, ginger shavings, or cacao powder. If I was sad, a drop of vanilla extract. Then one day, a community hospital diagnosed my husband, Kevin, with pancreatic cancer. They implanted a stent to ease his symptoms. Frightened, a former medical reporter, I became a sleuth with a deadline. I researched the disease, the treatments, and their outcomes into the wee hours of the morning. I learned the 1-year relative survival rate was 20%, more if you caught it early. In the tumult, my coffee ritual fell apart. I started sprinkling grains of Nescafe into unheated water, a morning trick of war correspondents living rough on the battlefield. Back at the hospital coffee vending machine.
1 a cup? I recommend the Cafe Mocha. Perfect combination. Coffee boosts brain blood flow and cocoa tames the jitters. Yeah, I'll make you one.
A man extracted a paper cup from the stack, positioned it on the center mark, and pushed a lighted button. In a trance, I watched the white digital time bar dissipate. A stream of hot water, followed by chocolate coffee liquid and a milky white froth, fell into the cup.
Here you go.
The aroma made me breathe deeply. Once, twice. My mind grew sharp, my vision clear, my nerves calmed.
I'm a volunteer. I tend the machines. I was treated here 20 years ago.
There's hope then.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Familiar words. At the time, I was in the best health of my life. I was looking and feeling mighty fine. The symptoms, when they began, were not even worrisome, just annoying and not given much thought or importance. I practically ignored them until I couldn't. But there was nothing remotely serious happening. Remember, it was the best of times, or so I thought. Returning to the doctor for the biopsy results, I barely processed until her words permeated my brain. My entire body was engulfed by a numbness that could not be shaken. What a difference a word makes. The transformation was almost blinding in its speed. It was suddenly the worst of times. For days, I couldn't form the word or give it life from my lips. Now that would make it real, and I could not deal with that at the moment. It was my own private hell with which to contend. And then, almost miraculously, I came to my senses. This was simply another detour on my journey of life, another test, surely a serious one, but something with which to contend and ultimately conquer. My extensive surgery was performed on a Friday, 4/21. For any numerologist out there, my birth date was Friday, 4/12. Mere coincidence, some might say. Some mere coincidence to have the exact same three numbers define the two most important days of my life. Several months later, I sat outside on an absolutely gorgeous day, watching an exquisite and breathtakingly beautiful sunset. I was overcome with raw and pure emotion. And once again, my eyes welled with tears that brimmed over with no conscious, willful action on my part. But there was a huge difference this time around. These tears were filled with happiness, joy, a pure, unadulterated relief, exhilaration, wonder, elation, etc., even disbelief. But the most overwhelming ingredient was blessedness and sheer gratitude. And then I knew, without a doubt, it was the best of times. Most certainly the best of times.
Chemotherapy is like a roller coaster. A roller coaster starts by going up, and that's when you begin one phase of chemotherapy. Then all of a sudden, there's that big drop. That's when, whoa, all the side effects hit you: nausea, joint pain, loss of appetite, the fatigue feeling, and of course, not wanting to continue this battle feeling. You catch my drift. Then you find that the roller coaster is going back up again. That's when the side effects eventually pass. And then the next phase of chemotherapy starts, and the whole cycle repeats.
My day started in the ER running tests to find out what was going on with my son, as he was showing signs of Bell palsy in his face, but no one had been able to confirm it. Through hours of running tests, the doctor finally had some answers. I never imagined they would pull me into a room to tell me that my son had cancer. My first reaction was, you must have the wrong person's results, as my son a week ago just ran track and came in first place. And that's not what we even came in here for. We had no time to digest anything we were told. In fact, we never left the hospital. I knew I had to be strong. Don't think about the big picture. Let's concentrate on one day at a time, and never more than 1 week at a time. As weeks went by and I sat every day with my son through all his treatments and watching him go through the roller coaster ride of chemo side effects, I was wishing the whole time I could make a deal with the devil to take this cancer out of him and put it in me so I could go through this and not my son. But we all know that is not how life is. I still can't think about the time in my life when this cancer ordeal does not bring tears to my eyes. And that's okay, because we got through it all. Thank goodness.
Words I do my best to live by every day are these. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it'll never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, it's between you and God. It was never about you and them anyway.
I was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 2002. After the shock, I said to myself, don't tell anyone. Just push through it, Lynn. Get a wig that looks like your hair, shave your head, get the lumpectomy, radiation, chemo, and you're done with this disease and move on. I stayed focused and worked throughout my treatment. Fast forward to 2011. Breast cancer came knocking again. I said to myself, okay, this is not good. Different cancer, other side. Well, you did this before, you can do it again. Push through, Lynn. New wig, lumpectomy, chemo, radiation. This is getting awfully hard. Lymphedema in my chest. Fast forward 2012. Lost my mother, lost my job, and the breast cancer came knocking for a third time. What the hell? I cannot do this again. I just can't. And an inner voice said, yes, you can. I opted for bilateral mastectomy, lat flap surgery, reconstruction, and chemo. And of course, a new wig. Fast forward 2015, 2 surgeries for melanoma. So far, so good. Fast forward 2017, carcinoma, minor surgery. Fast forward 2020, found out implants were recalled and causing cancer. So out they came and new ones put in. It's been 7 surgeries and 20 years since I was first diagnosed. I'm not sure what'll be next, but I'm still here.
She stood in the darkness, at the realm of time, arms outstretched, reaching out into the unknown, waiting. For what? She did not know. Was the shadow in light or light in shadow? That was hard to tell. There was an urgency now to understand, but the means to do it eluded her mind. So there she stood at the realm of time, arms outstretched into the darkness, waiting. In light, there was shape and form and purpose. In shadow, it was hazy and blurry like her mind. If only clarity would return, she might understand, but it did not. So there she stood at the realm of time, arms outstretched into the darkness, waiting. There was no way to tell how long she waited there. It could have been a second or a millennium, standing at the realm of time. All at once, with a clarity that had eluded her before, she knew. There was nothing concrete she could hold on to, no answer. for her future was still unwritten. So there she stood at the realm of time, arms outstretched into the darkness, waiting.
My sister was not supposed to die. We had an agreement. I gathered myself up, living in the layers of my sister's journey, putting my life on pause because I loved her. There's a temptation to stow away the beautiful memories, put away the photos, trudge upward, and forget the magnitude of the loss. It takes me by the hand, leading me through the broken roof to find her. The questions pour in like rain into my lonely heart. Still, the questions makes me aware that the repairing of the roof, it's the repairing of me. How do I climb into the present? I reach for the apples from my favorite tree, not the clouds. Gradually, I make a chair, weaving the seats with memories that keep me in the present. When I resist and want to reach for the clouds, I continue to work on my memory, weaving to ground me. I give myself some tenderness to carry on. It was not my choice to survive without her, so I chose to live and honor her. I am still standing.
It was Christmas Eve day. I went to a follow-up appointment following a sinus surgery I had 2 weeks earlier. I was told that I had cancer and that further surgery was needed, and then radiation treatment. Upon hearing this news, I began sweating and yawning. My body was in shock, and I contemplated what I would need to do in order to make my body free of cancer. I felt I needed to be positive for my children and for my parents. I was nervous and I had many questions, which I would pursue to have answered in the next few months, from calling my doctors and reaching out to cancer groups for support. Mature my soul, engage my heart, losing and finding are all part of a continuum of big transitions that are before me.
5 years after my breast cancer diagnosis, I realized that I'm not the same person. I'm always thinking that there's a possibility of a return. I miss the days when that was never a thought. I see pictures and I think, oh, that was pre-diagnosis. It's as if my diagnosis was a line in the sand. But I wouldn't change my cancer journey. I have learned a lot about myself. I've learned I have a choice in how I respond to my life's hurdles, from a place of deficit or a place of surplus. I can choose a defeated mentality, or I can choose to think I can overcome whatever comes my way with a positive outlook. And even if the news is not what I want to hear, I can still choose a positive outlook while I fight this fight. I will live it fully, laughing, smiling, sharing, caring, and believing that no matter what, I'll be just fine as my journey continues.
She looked up at her mother, who was standing in the doorway of the dark room, light streaming in around her silhouette as if she were an angel coming from heaven to relieve the girl from her pain. As she stepped further into the room, the girl could see that there was a man standing behind her. His smile was too welcoming to fit the cold and bleak environment that she was confined to. She was afraid and angry at the whole situation. No amount of smiling doctors and crisp white coats could ease her fears. Her mother's worried expression didn't help the rising panic in her chest, but her gentle touch as she sat down on the end of the bed felt calming.
This can't be happening to me. Not now.
It's a very rare cancer in only 0.2% of the population. How old are your children?
Why would you ask me that? My mind raced to make sense of it all. I couldn't even spell or type the cancer, let alone know anything about it. A rare cancer, very aggressive, the ages of my children. Oh my gosh, the doctor doesn't expect me to make it. I'm not going to make it. My children are 11 and 17 years old. I need to be here for them. I need to feel well. I need to take care of all of their appointments, schooling, their medications. I'm not ready to go anywhere yet. I'm just not ready to go.
This was very unexpected. I'm so sorry. I can't help you longer, and I'm needing someone else.
I heard that surgery is the go-to way to fight this cancer with a better rate of survival.
Surgery would be an option on someone who is curable. You are not curable. Therefore, we will not attempt to perform surgery.
What? Am I not worth that? If I need to go through chemotherapy 4 days a week, 12 hours a day for 3 cycles, then I have to try. I can't stand up for very long. I can't move too well or eat or drink. I'm not able to play with my youngest son or attend movies with my oldest. He's going to graduate high school, and I'm going to miss it. I can't be intimate with my husband or cook dinners like I used to. I am pale. I am bald. I am weak. I am tired. And I feel like giving up. I just don't have the strength to continue. The treatment only showed a 20% improvement. Multiple tumors are there. A few are 20% smaller. I can't do it anymore. My body just can't go through it anymore. Hope is lost. I am lost. And then I woke up one morning and I said to myself, what are you doing? You can't give up. You fight. You fight with everything you've got, like you've always had to fight in your life. You've always had to fight, so keep it up. Pray for guidance, for wisdom, for help. By the grace of God, I found a surgeon who gave me my life back. It's never certain for how long, but every 3 months when I have a new scan and there's no evidence of disease, I am grateful, so very blessed, and live life to the fullest for those 3 months before my next scan. This December, it'll be 3 years since I was first diagnosed, and 2 years since I was preparing for end of life. I saw my son graduate high school and my youngest mature into a young teen. I have hope. I have faith. And I am a thriver, defying statistics, one day at a time.
I have learned quickly in this short time that I must enjoy every moment I am given. I must never stop showing kindness everywhere I go, because I don't know what someone else might be suffering through.
My oncologist began to review my diagnosis.
Stage 3 T-cell lymphoma cancer. The treatment you will undergo will include chemotherapy and radiation for 2 years.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Of course.
Am I going to lose my hair? The only thing I know about cancer treatment, thanks to movies and television shows, was that the patient loses their hair.
Yes. Unfortunately, you may lose your hair due to the side effects of chemotherapy.
I took a deep breath, got up, walked out of the room, and sat in a corner of the hospital, broke down and cried my eyes out. I was angry, confused, but most importantly, this was the exact moment I finally understood what I was about to face. I was never going to admit it to anyone because it showed weakness, but I was really scared. I was only 16 years old.
I must continue to wake up every day and put my 2 feet on the ground and say, thank you for this day and for the moments I will experience. I will continue to smile more, laugh often and loudly, and say thank you more.
How do I spell remission? R, relieved. To hear today such amazing news after 2.5 years of treatments, which will end in May, you are in remission. E, encouraged and thankful that this news came today as I started my session with a bit of a spring in my step to the infusion center. M, merciful for everyone's support and prayers during this journey. I, inspired by each of you for what you have given me on this journey and prayers and thoughts and so much more. S, smiles to my blessed family with lots of love and hugs for being my rocks to lean on. Without all of you, I'm not sure I could have gotten through this journey. I love all of you. To each of my extended family members and my friends, I send smiles to you with lots of love and hugs for being who you are. Amazing. S, spouse. To the very best one, Marianne. You always were by my side and never had one doubt that this would be what we both wanted to hear. Love you. It's truly a blessing. A blessing that I know I am blessed with. Each and every day during this journey was a blessing. And now I get to continue to enjoy each future day and know that each of those days will be a blessing not to be taken for granted. And I will love the days that I'm given, and I will give thanks for them. Oh, overflowing with gratitude to each and every individual that was so instrumental in giving me so many words of encouragement on my journey. You were truly the wings beneath my wings. And never give up. Always know that there is hope in everything. I know that I'm not completely done yet, but this news, it makes the rest of my short journey that I have left so much easier to bear. Remission is never a guarantee that it's over with, but for now, I will take that and I will be thankful for it. Thank you, God, for all that I have in my life. I'm not sure how I deserve so many blessings, but I am grateful. Forever grateful.
I want to start by thanking the creative team and all involved for their work on this project. It's such a great feeling watching this all come to life, especially with new work from our authors. I want to thank all of the authors. Your voice and participation played such an important role, and we couldn't have done it without you. We are both honored and grateful for allowing us to see your vulnerability and courage from a glimpse at the impact that cancer has had on you through your submissions. I finally want to thank the audience for joining us this evening for such a powerful and moving performance. We are all here as a community as we have either been impacted by cancer ourselves, know someone who has or had cancer, or has had cancer or have lost someone to cancer. We at Crossroads for Hope and McCarter are so appreciative of all of your support, and we hope you continue to engage with us. Give me 1 second as I share my screen to just represent and acknowledge the writers of our Cancer Stories 2022. All right. So this portion of the performance is really about the talk back. So if all of our actors and director are able to turn their cameras on to join the talk back. Perfect. All right. So we would like to start by introducing 3 of our authors, Carol, Trish, and Raquel. I'm going to begin with Carol. Carol, I'm going to unmute you. A screen might have popped up just saying that you're allowed to talk.
Got it.
Awesome. Carol,
All right.
I want to ask the question of what was it like writing your submission and watching it come to life?
Wow. The first thing I have to say is I'm honored and privileged to be a speaker here. And this whole performance was just amazing. And I'm going to use a word that I have reserved for the Grand Canyon. And I never used it to describe anything until tonight. And that is awesome. I think that word is used so ridiculously often that it has lost its meaning. But I want you to know, all of you tonight, that this was in my heart and in my mind, it was awesome. And the second thing I want to say to Jamie is, I didn't know you knew me. No, you have captured the essence. You did my portion and you captured the essence of Carol. I mean, it was just fabulous. And I'm thinking, wow, I didn't realize that I knew her or she knew me, but somehow she has captured everything, every innate piece of what I felt. And your performance was just stellar and just on target. And I was almost at a loss for words, but as my husband can tell you, that never happens. So I took notes. And I just loved every performance. I mean, it ran the gamut of every emotion. You elicited every emotion in me. I cried, I laughed, I felt despair, I felt amazement. But most of all, it was the awe included. And I just want to thank you, everybody. There have been few miracles in my life. My cancer journey is one, and being a part of Crossroads for Hope is another one. I am just so grateful to everyone there and to be a part of this performance and a part of this movement in every day of my life. Thank you so much. My gratitude is overflowing.
Thank you so much, Carol, for those kind words.
Kyle, can I respond to that real quick? Sorry, I'm like crying over here. I want to say thank you. Thank you for your kind words. And it really means a lot to hear you say that, because I literally, even like right before we started, I asked Kyle, I was like, do you think we're doing this justice? Because I'm very aware that these are real people and real stories and your real lives. And I'm like, this is so important. And I'm like crying because thank you for your kind words, and I'm very happy.
Well, Jamie, when this is picked up for programming by Netflix, I just want you're going to play me.
Sounds great. I'll tell my agent.
Streaming. I'm old. I almost forgot the word when it's picked up for streaming.
Thank you so
Bye.
much, Carol. All right. So next, I'm going to actually turn to Trish. So Trish, I'm going to unmute you next, and a screen might pop up saying allow to talk.
Hi there.
Hi, Trish.
Hi.
So Trish, what inspired you to submit your piece for this performance?
Kyle, you were a part of it, predominantly because of the fact that I was having a real hard time during radiation. I was depressed and it was really rough. And I'm actually a stand-up comedian. So there was no joy, there was no funny, there was no nothing. And then I was like, today is the day I returned to the stage. So I also at that time started writing this because you were like, hey, why don't you write something for us? And I was like, got it, bro. So I did. And I can't thank Asia enough for the fact that A, she played me, and B, she got laughs. So the comedian inside of me is just dying. So yeah, it was just a chance to return to normal. So this was the opportunity to return to normal, write something funny, write something absurd about this whole thing. They really did lose me in the hospital, and the doctor was really hot, just saying.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Trish. All right. And now finally, I'd like to turn to Raquel. Raquel, I know you participated in this program last year, but what can you say about your written piece you submitted this year compared to last year's submission? And Raquel, I'm going to unmute you. Let me know.
Hi, everyone.
Do you need me to
Can you
ask that
hear me?
question again?
No, I don't. Hi, everyone. Hi, Kyle. Long time no see. Can I comment first before I answer the question, though?
100%.
I'm still choked up. I was so moved by everyone. Jamie, you brought power to my story. I mean, I can't even tell you how long the hairs on my arm stood up when you spoke it, because there's a level of vulnerability in sharing. And I'm thinking, oh, why should I share this? This is not worthy. But when you spoke it, you made it worthy. You gave me a sense of why I should share. I'm sorry, guys. This is just tough.
Okay.
But you gave me a sense of why I should share my story. And you gave so much power to it. And I want to thank you. But I want to thank all of you, because I just kept sitting here going, oh my gosh, yes, I understand. And it was just so therapeutic. Now, in terms of your question, Kyle, I find that my story this year compared to the one, when I submitted this one I submitted last year, I was in the middle of my treatment. And so it was coming from a place of fear, insecurity, unsureness, shame. What do I do? How do I find myself in the midst of this treatment? I never wanted to do chemo. I was Miss Brave. I'm never going to do chemo. And when you're facing it and it sits you down, it's a very different reality. And so I was searching to feel good about myself. So that's where that one came from, right? This time when you asked for the submission, I realized that I was in a place of reflection, right? I was reflecting back on the journey and where I was. That line in the sand is what really came to me, because I was realizing that I was looking at everything as before and after. That's how my hair was before. This is how my hair is after. Oh, that's when I had eyebrows. Now I have to color it in. Like, it was just like a distinct change in my path. But I realized that I wasn't writing from a place of fear in this time. It was really a place of, understanding myself better. I'm much more brave in a room. I'm much more brave in a meeting, because I was just like, I faced chemo, I faced radiation, I faced whatever possibilities there was. I'm going to my oncologist every how many months, multiple times a year. So there's this level of constant fear of what am I going to find, right? So this person asked me this question in a meeting, that's no longer intimidating to me, right? So it's like reflecting on how, yes, it scared me. Yes, this was a hurdle that, oh my gosh, would it have been easier never to have faced? Yes. But am I a stronger person because of it? Absolutely. So that's where that writing came from. But thank you all so much for giving me this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Raquel. All right. So now I would like to engage our creative team. I'm not sure. Did I freeze just now? Am I frozen?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Glad. So I'd like to engage our creative team, Asia, Jamie, Michael, Jacqueline, and Laura. I'll turn to Asia to start us off. So Asia, as one of the actors, what was challenging about bringing this piece to life and what brought joy?
So it's funny, I'm in grad school right now, and in classes, we are talking about how much theater makers and theater actors have the privilege to walk away from plays like this. But for the writers and the people who actually live it, they can't walk away. And we're only getting a snippet, not everyone's like trials and tribulations throughout. So the challenge is finding ways to make this as respectable as possible and to also honor these voices because they are real. These are real stories. And at the same time, that's also the joy of it. You know, bringing these stories to life that could influence, help, educate others, and really make a difference.
Thank you so much, Asia. Now I'm going to turn to Jamie. Jamie, what moment from the piece spoke to you personally as you were performing it?
Yeah, so the story about like having it been 5, and correct me if I'm wrong, was this Raquel's story? The one about having it been 5 years since the breast cancer diagnosis and the line in the sand and the before and the after. I related to that one a lot. I've had I have not had a health scare as significant as cancer in my life, but I have had some health moments, and I have like a high general level of anxiety, and so that's kind of culminated in like I have a lot of health anxiety, and to me that feeling of like not being able to trust your own body, like that's a very scary thing. Like your body is where you live, and there's nowhere you can go, there's nowhere else you can live. So to read about like that feeling and then having to like consciously day by day, moment to moment, choose positivity and hope over negativity and fear, like that's a very conscious choice, and it's a very brave choice. And so that piece really, really resonated with me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to actually turn it over to both Michael and Jacqueline and ask you both the same question because I know you might have different responses. I'll start with Michael. If you could, and Jacqueline, if you could say anything directly to an author of one of the pieces, what would you say?
Well, I would say that Patrick, his piece that I did about how to spell remission, it was very moving and hard for me not to get choked up while just reciting it, obviously. But you know what? But I also have to say that this goes for everyone, and not just to single out one of the writers. That each and every one of you, I just want to thank you for your ocean of optimism and hope in these words. It's really unbelievable how your words are not just beautiful, but they're powerful. And what I would say to each and every other writer out there, and anybody who's viewing who might not have participated in the writing of this, but maybe going through these things themselves, use those powerful, powerful words and continue to write. I mean, the amazing feelings that you can have other people feel from reading this, who knows, like, you know, people may read that 100 years from now, or people may read it, you know, a week from now, and they're going to be moved by it. Your words are very powerful. And so sorry, the short version of it is to please everyone continue to keep writing.
Thank you so much, Michael. Jacqueline?
Yeah, I second and third that completely. This was an honor and a privilege to be able to try to tell these stories that were on the page and to try to embody them for just a little while. The one piece that I think really impacted me a lot was the mother with the children who had received a serious diagnosis. And the ability to dig deep and fight, because those kids need you. And as a parent of 3 children, that was really inspiring and beautiful. And like Michael said, and I think for all of us, this is an experience that we'll remember always. And I hope that all of you continue to write and have this outlet for expression, for giving, for sharing, for healing. And I'm grateful to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. And now finally, our director, Laura, what are your thoughts on theater as an opportunity for healing?
I think it kind of goes back to that old saying of there's security in numbers. And I think theater has that ability to express the things that we feel, but sometimes can't put words to. And it has the ability to show that you're not alone, that other people have had this experience too. And it kind of takes the weight off of our shoulders and lets you know that you're not in it alone. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Laura. And thank you all so much for your participation in this project. To the authors and creative team, it just means the absolute world to me and to Crossroads for Hope for your support and involvement with this project. And now for the last few minutes, I'd actually like to open it up to the audience for any questions, comments, or reactions that you may have.